My name is Linda Albani. The hand-tied wefts is something that I love. And I'm going to show you every detail of how it's done. I'm going to show you my passion. So we start out by putting the needle in the thread and tying it. We're going to tie it, double knot it. And this way we get a nice grip for when we're working. So it should look like this. And always at arm length, this long. And we begin. Our first sectioning. I'm going to show you how to section the hair for the first row. So this is next. Usually you want to stay 2 fingers away from the ear, and you want to stay 2 fingers away from the hairline. Get a nice clean section, and it's easier to work with. We have our model Chloe here today. Say hello, Chloe.
Hi.
She's excited about getting longer hair. So the next step is measuring your hair extension. You open it up. So this is our beginning point. So you're going to put a pin there so you remember you got to start. This is as far as you're going to go, right here behind the ear. So this is your beginning. And you mark your other side as well. This will be the beginning on that side. And we'll start our process. So take a nice little triangular section, about 1/2 inch wide, and you start your beading. It should be nice and neat and clean. You loop it through. You got your thread. You're going to begin. I'm using this color thread because usually, even though they're blonde, the roots sometimes are darker and the brown thread matches better with the roots. Or the light brown, I should say, 'cause there's different browns. So you leave this so you could tie it with the weft thread. And then you just enclose it. You lift it up a little bit at the root So when it grows, it's comfortable. You're not directly at the root, and you commit and you close. It's a nice, neat section. So you have where you're gonna put your stitches. Then we go under, so the thread is on top again, right under the loop. And you follow through all around. So when you're thinking about how much hair to put in, you've got to think density with density. Her hair is not that thick, so you're not going to put 6 wefts in her in one row. That's just too much. You got to match her density. So I would go with 3 max on the first row. And you know, as you do this method, you're going to put your own individual touch to it too. Everybody makes whatever method you're showing or whatever technique you show, everybody makes it their own, because hairdressers are all different. They think different, they work different. I think that's what makes us great. So the hairspray will help you with the little flyaways from not getting in the way. You take a rectangular thin section and you loop it through. So you loop the hair. Remember, after you finish your loop, you go over, right under the bead and over. So your next nice clean section. And you go right under a little bit. When you're near the scalp, you go under a little bit so you don't do it directly out of the scalp, so it has room to grow without it pulling on the hair, and it's more comfortable. Perfect. So you put the hair right over the bead and then you're ready for your next section. Nice clean section, and your bead. Okay. So now you loop it over and you cut the thread, and you'll leave your thread here because this thread is gonna be attached to the weft thread. So now we're gonna apply the hair and prepare it for the next step. This is how you're gonna hold it down until you're ready to sew it in. And then we're gonna start to sew this. Easy breezy. So this is it. And then we're gonna start sewing it right here. The colors are beautiful, perfect. They match her.
One more time towards me again.
When I finish, I might melt the root a little bit darker to match her root so it blends better.
Got it.
So our first stitch, remove some of the pins. You grab the hair right there and you start by making a knot. And remember the hair that we saved from the bottom here? We're going to tie it up and cut it. There it is. We got our knot. Again, the reason I chose the darker thread is because I'm going to melt the roots, so this is going to blend better than the blonde thread. And now we can begin our sewing of our wefts. That's the first stitch. So these are hand-tied wefts, Usually, you could see the thread at the end of the weft right here. Do you see this blonde thread? You're going to cut that out. Right here, you see this? This gets cut out. But don't cut it too close to the weft, because then the weft will fall apart. And remember, these are very sensitive, gentle wefts. So you go about 1.5 inches down and you cut it. This won't bother her. This is nice and flat. This won't bother her. It should last her. And the rest is easy. This is how we loop it. We go in through the weft, and we always stay in this pattern so you get a nice square tightness at the root. Do you see how nice and neat that is, the stitching? Kind of stay in the same pattern. Always remember, don't go under the bead. You just go around the two sides of the bead. So this approximately, for a full head, will take 1.5 hours. This, with coloring, you want to block yourself at least 2 hours for this process. Because after you put this in, you're going to probably melt the roots, or maybe put in a couple of darker pieces, you know, depending on what look you're achieving. So you want to block out 2 hours, and you'll be done. You could put 1, 2, up to 3 rows of hair, depending on what's needed. If you're looking for lengthening, you got to put 3 rows. If you're looking just for volume, you can put 1 to 2 rows. If the hair on top allows, sometimes you can get lengthening with 2 rows as well. And remember, you're utilizing very little amounts of hair to hold a very abundant amount of hair. So you're gonna get a lot of hair with very little of her own being used. Let's ask Chloe, how does it feel so far?
So far, it doesn't even feel like I have anything in my hair. It's super light.
They're very light and easy, and most of the time, actually, they help the client's hair grow, because they do less with it. When they're happy, the clients mess with their hair less. What I've noticed is a lot of clients over the years have damaged their hair by using the iron on too high a heat. So they'll come in, and I'll put these in, and they kind of stop using the iron. They use more curling iron, so they get the nice look from the curl more than they do from the flat iron. So that helps them with their hair. It could be curled, it could be washed, it could be blown out. Just like your own hair, it becomes part of you. Sometimes, like when I take my niece's hair out, she goes, "Oh my God," she goes, "I feel naked without it." They get used to it, they love it. You can braid it, air dry it, braid it. An hour later, you got nice beach waves when you loosen it up. There's so much you could do with it.
How long does it last?
It could last, depending, how you take care of your hair, 6 to 8 months.
6 to 8 months?
Yes. All you have to do is just every 3 to 4 weeks you come in, we move them up a little bit, and then in a couple of more weeks you move them all up, take them out and do them again. So the clients love it, and you get to see them more often, which is a great thing, because clients love us, but unless they need us, they won't come see us. So towards the end, you're going to do the stitches a little more often than you do throughout, because you have the most grip here on the ends. This is my first video. I know I'll get better at it. I'm excited. And this is the final step. Then you're going to cut the thread, and you're going to, again, make the knot with the previous thread from the beads, and then cut it. And that's your first row. So we finalized the first row, and now I'm going to bring the next section down, and we're going to start our second row, and I'll show you the final results. All right, so I finalized the first row, and this is what it looks like, and you can wear it up, you can wash it, there's no tension, it's really comfortable. When you wear your hair up, no one will ever see it. See that? Beautiful. So I'm going to bring down the next section, and we're going to start the second row, and I'll show you the final results in a minute.